Tonight, NIU students rally for justice in the search for missing Mexican students. A bloody terrorist attack, this time in Kenya. And hold the party, here's how an NIU fraternity is feeding the hungry. NTC News Tonight starts now.
You're watching NTC News, DeKalb County's only television news source, on the campus of Northern Illinois University and from the Northern Television Center. This is NTC News Tonight.
The holidays are a time for family and food, but for some, food is the biggest issue. Good evening, I'm Kyle Jacobs. Thanks for joining us.
And I'm Amber Luckett. NIU's fraternities and sororities pulled together to give families at Hope Haven full bellies. And
NTC reporter TJ Hopkins has a front seat.
It's called Candlepalooza, a food drive co-hosted by both fraternities and sororities here at the Newman Catholic Center, and some feel that it is necessary to give back to the community.
So the key point in that is service of all. If we're not serving the other people throughout our community, then what are we really doing to better humanity?
The Greek community has been doing this for the people of Hope Haven for the past 5 years, and for some, this event hits home.
I mean, I started somewhere small, somewhere, where, so I know how it is, especially for people at Hope Haven. I feel very good doing this every year.
The goal of Candlepalooza is to collect 1,000 cans of foods and non-perishable goods. This year, 734 cans of food and non-perishables were collected for the people at Hope Haven.
Especially with the weather changing and our increased numbers right now, it's great to have this. It's going to help our organization so much, and so we are truly thankful and just want to say thank you to the Greek community for thinking of Hope Haven this holiday season. So thanks so much.
Organizers say this food drive is a good way to give back and reach out to others. For NTC News, I'm TJ Hopkins.
The original goal was 1,000 non-perishable items, but every donation helps combat homelessness.
If you would like to donate or volunteer, visit the Hope Haven website.
Switching gears now to an update on the case that still looms over NIU. A hazing criminal case from 2012 still hasn't been solved. 19-year-old NIU student David Bauenberger was found dead at a Pi Kappa Alpha fraternity house 2 years ago. Attorneys expect the case to continue today, despite prior plans for the defendants to enter plea agreements.
And another update on a huge case involving nearly $1.5 million in drugs. Henry Zamora has been appointed an attorney on Monday. Zamora is from DeKalb. He has been charged with possession of heroin with intent to deliver and other related crimes. His case has been continued until next month. A California man, Harry Madrid, has been charged as an accomplice.
85 foreclosed lots are to be auctioned off in the DeKalb subdivision. Lots in the River Mist subdivision are going to be auctioned off after a year-long foreclosed suit. The American Midwest Bank filed 2 foreclosure suits against the River Mist Unit 5 LLC in January. Members of the unit, developer John Pappas and businessman Peter Atieres, decided to walk away from the property. Those lots, along with 20 other lots, including single-family homes, will be sold on Thursday during a sheriff's sale.
If you're a walker, there is a new stretch of walking trail open on the city's north side. DeKalb now has a walkway from the YMCA to Bethany Animal Hospital. The 300-foot pathway along Bethany Road was completed last week. The decision was made because people would walk in the street because there was no sidewalk to use.
A new proposal will be made for a sober living home to be open in Sycamore. A public forum will be held at the Legislative Center in Sycamore. The home would house DeKalb County Drug Court participants who have completed a residential treatment program. DeKalb County would need to pay $145,000 to buy the property. The full county board is expected to vote on the buying of the houses during the December 17th meeting.
A memorial was held for the 43 Mexican college students who went missing in Iguala, Mexico.
NTC reporter Dan Kinney gives us a first hand at the emotional ceremony.
Outside here at the MLK Commons, Students all around campus came here to pay their respect for the 43 Mexican college students that presumably lost their lives. Where protests for the missing 43 Mexican college students around North America are becoming violent, NIU students are taking a more peaceful approach. During the memorial bell ringing, students came together to show their solidarity. They did this by reading the names and bios of every one of the 43 missing students. They put faces to names by taping their picture to these 43 chairs. Sarah Briseño decided to add a 44th chair.
But that 44th chair was definitely supposed to represent some sort of messaging where it could be any other student next, right? Not just here at the university, because we're different communities, but just anywhere. And how many more people does it have to take for us to come together?
About 12% of the students here on campus are of Latin descent. This story hits home for many of them. Clearly, some students' emotions are running rampant.
There's always two ways to deal with a conflict like what happened. You can either go back, find the men who did this, take a gun to their head, and kill them. But that's just going to bring more violence. And that's the last thing I want from my country.
There's a very somber climate here as 43 students read off the bios of the missing 43 Mexican college students that occurred right behind me. Overall, there's a big mixed bag of emotions, but it seems that they just want justice to be served. In DeKalb, this is Dan Kenny, NTC News.
Thanks, Dan. NIU President Douglas Baker is headed to Washington to visit another president, Barack Obama. Baker is leading the Northern Illinois Regional P20 Network to the White House College Opportunity Summit tomorrow. The Regional P20 Network consists of 26 educational institutions in Northern Illinois. The network is implementing large-scale strategies to get students in Northern Illinois college ready.
Mark Petrowski has been elected as chairman of the DeKalb County Board. The Cortland Democrat is also the director of external programming for the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences here at NIU. Petrowski serves District 3. He was unanimously elected to the chairman position.
Sycamore residents have a new brewpub coming to town in the near future.
It's not finished yet, but you had a chance to see how the whole project was coming along?
Yep, and what the new establishment means to downtown. Local resident of Sycamore, J.D. Heinrich, is working very hard to bring good food, fun, and homemade beer to this small town. What doesn't look like much now will soon be a new brew pub called Forge Brew House.
After doing lots of research, DeKalb Sycamore could definitely use a place like this. It's 25-30 miles to get to the closest one, so I feel there's a niche for it here. And
because Sycamore is looking to expand the community economically, socially, and physically, is looking for more people to open up small businesses like these here. In fact, the city has recently revised and updated their comprehensive plan, which focuses on the city's expansion through zoning. Zoning is how the city regulates land so that things can be built, such as businesses and homes. This will allow for more jobs so that families can live and work in the same area.
And so we need to have those folks here feeling, enjoying their community as a full-time resident, rather than just working in one place and living in another.
With Forge Brew House opening sometime late January, early February, Heinrich will have more than enough time to spend with his family. This is Amber Luckett reporting with NTC News in DeKalb.
Thanks, Amber. If you would like to know more about the city's comprehensive plan, visit the Sycamore City website.
A new brew pub is not the only new thing Sycamore has. Sycamore has made a selection for its next police chief. Officer Glenn Theriot will take over the Chief Donald Thompson on January 5th of next year. Officer Theriot served on the Elgin Police Department for 20 years. His last role at the department was Operations Commander.
DeKalb officials have moved the city's money out of a state investment fund. The fund is in the middle of a lawsuit against a man accused of making millions of dollars in fraudulent loans. The officials are fearful the millions of dollars in taxpayers' money will be lost. The city of DeKalb has $436,000 currently frozen because of the alleged fraud. City Finance Director Kathy Haley says the frozen money would not affect city operations.
The oldest cabin in DeKalb County has found its new home.
We got a chance to look at the 170-year-old cabin in its new home. Let's see what's changed. Only a few years ago, this beam was being set into place at the base of this 170-year-old cabin. New logs had been crafted using period techniques to replace those that couldn't be salvaged. But one worker thinks it's definitely worth it.
It is exciting because it's the oldest log cabin left in these parts. It was the only one in DeKalb County. So when they found that inside of an old farmhouse that was being torn down, that is a rare treasure.
The roof had to be rebuilt with original style oak wood, and the filler between each log, called chinking, remade using plaster and horsehair. The authenticity of both the cabin and its interior feel are crucial.
They've gone into, of course, reference books and looked up a lot of things from the 1800s. And then you have to watch a TV series called Little House on the Prairie to find out what they did in their TV reproductions of the houses then. And a lot of things that did were very accurate.
And this little house also includes a garden which will continue to grow period prairie crops each year. And life on the prairie will live on as members from Nay Grange prepare to act as historians.
Volunteer to be trained as docents by Peggy Doty from the Forest Preserve District, so we'll be able to give tours to grade school classes coming out.
The tours and presentations will begin in the spring. From Kingston, I'm Kyle Jacobs, NTC News.
The log cabin will also be open to the public in the spring.
It'll be a good opportunity to see how life was so long ago.
Well, spring seems like a long time away with all this cold weather that we've had these past couple days.
Is there any hope for some early spring-like weather? Emery Dhanens is here now with hopefully some good news.
Well, I wouldn't exactly call it spring-like weather, but we are in store for a warm-up this weekend. But first, let's take a look at tomorrow's temperatures. For Thursday, we'll see mostly cloudy conditions across the northern part of Illinois. Temperatures will be in the low 30s for DeKalb and Rockford and mid-30s for the remaining cities. For more on this weekend's weather, stay with us.
Still to come, why it looks like an airbag maker is about to have a head-on crash with Congress.
When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen, petrified. Not knowing what to do, they do nothing. But the people who do something, the people who take action, are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making home affordable is a free government program. Call now to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers, right now.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you've all been enjoying the beautiful sunny skies we have seen today. Feels like it's been quite a while since we've had such clear skies. Today we're expected to reach a high of 35 degrees, and overnight we're going to dip down to a low of about 14, which is below average for this time of year. Also note that it's been getting darker sooner, and tonight we'll have our sunset at about 4:30 p.m. Taking a look at our local weather cam, we see those sunny skies. However, it is pretty windy out there. In fact, earlier this morning, it felt as cold as 15 degrees across much of Illinois. But we're in luck for this weekend because we do have a high pressure system that will be moving into our area, which will bring with it some sunshine and a chance for a possible warm up. However, that won't last for very long, unfortunately, because on Monday we have a chance of snow as a low-pressure system sits off to the east of us. But let's take it back to tonight, where we'll see increasingly cloudy throughout the evening, and it'll be about 14 degrees overnight. And then tomorrow, unfortunately, we'll have overcast skies with a high of just about 33 degrees. And then for tomorrow evening, more clouds with an overnight low of about 27 degrees. Then let's look at our 7-day weather forecast, where we see again on Thursday those sunny, partly cloudy skies with a high of 33. Then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, with that high pressure sitting in our region, we'll be seeing again sunnier skies with highs in the upper 30s. And then, as we mentioned, on Monday we'll have a chance for snow. And then Tuesday and Wednesday and into next week, we'll be seeing sunny skies with highs back in the low 30s. That's all for weather. Let's send it back to the desk.
Don't expect state lawmakers to move on raising the minimum wage.
And Governor Bruce Rauner says the budget is worse than he expected. These are today's state lines.
Illinois lawmakers who are wrapping up the fall legislative session will not consider increasing the state's minimum wage. Votes would come on an expanded election law and state health insurance exchange. A spokesman for House Speaker Michael Madigan says Madigan felt complications would make it unlikely a wage hike could be passed this year.
Governor-elect Bruce Rauner says the Illinois budget situation is worse than has been discussed. Rauner says that he was surprised to learn that the state budget didn't give enough money to cover agency expenses. If lawmakers don't approve the new revenue, the state will face a roughly $5 billion budget hole.
Chicago health officials say new HIV cases in the city have declined more than 40% since 2001. The city's health department gave about $36 million to more than 60 local agencies to provide HIV prevention, care, and housing services.
The speed limit for trucks on interstates in parts of Chicago in the Chicago area is going up from 55 miles per hour to 60 miles per hour. The Illinois House has followed the lead of the Senate and the overturned Governor Pat Quinn's veto of the speed limit legislation. It applies outside urban areas of Cook County and the surrounding suburban counties. And those are today's state lines.
Israel's government is in turmoil.
An Islamic terrorist leaves bloody trails in Kenya. Here's what's happening in today's World Watch.
Israeli lawmakers are expected to vote soon to dissolve parliament. Yesterday, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said he would no longer tolerate attacks from inside his coalition and sacked his justice and finance ministers. An election has been set for March 17th. The call for new elections means Israel is effectively in a state of political paralysis until then.
At least 36 people were slaughtered in a quarry in the northern Kenya near the border of Somalia. The Kenyan Red Cross says al-Shabaab militants separated non-Muslims from Muslims and executed the non-Muslims. The bodies of the victims were transported to Nairobi by plane. The head of the National Police and the Interior Minister are leaving their posts.
An auto parts supplier, Takata, has ignored a midnight deadline to expand its recall of faulty airbags, setting up a potential showdown with Congress. Regulators in the U.S. want a nationwide recall. Takata is refusing. The metal-encased inflator can burst, sending shrapnel into the driver. Among 10 automakers affected by the recall, so far Honda has been the hardest hit, having to recall more than 5 million Honda and Acura vehicles.
In China, a would-be bank robber failed to plan ahead. This is surveillance video from a bank. The bad guy apparently had a fake gun. He snatched nearly $300,000 from a bank employee. But watch this. All the cash was just too heavy and it messed up his getaway. The police caught up to him as he struggled to lift the bag onto his bike. And that's today's World Watch.
Hello there, I'm Dan Kenny. We have a basketball-heavy slate of highlights for you today, so let's dive right into it. Derrick Rose and the Bulls played the Dallas Mavericks last night. Bulls are up by 3 right before Kirk Hinrich fouls Mavericks guard Monte Ellis as he's shooting a three-pointer. Pau Gasol can't believe it. Neither can Coach Tibbs. Promptly, Ellis nails all 3 free throws to force overtime, which leads us to today's play of the day. It's Derrick Rose hitting the game-tying buzzer beater. With time running out, that's what Bulls fans are accustomed to seeing now, D. Rose. But now, Monte Ellis nails this three-pointer over Jimmy Butler, which sinks the Bulls. Chicago falls 132 to 129. It was a rough one for them. Yesterday marked the return of the reigning league MVP, Kevin Durant, but it was Anthony Davis who stole the show. The former Kentucky Wildcat finishes at the rim with a finger roll. The Brows looking sharp, AD, and KD looks like he hasn't missed a beat as the Durantula throws down a real rim rattler. But back to Davis as he jumps right in front of this passing lane and ends up tipping the ball to Tyreke Evans, who finishes strong right underneath the basket. The young and gunning Pelicans spoiled Durant's return. Over to college hoops and the ACC Big Ten Challenge, where the 24th ranked Illinois team traveled to Miami. Later, Malcolm Hill hits this three-point play after the foul. In the second half, McClellan makes a backdoor cut, gets the pass, and throws down a two-handed slam. Miami would go on to win by 9, 70-61. There are a few big football games coming up in the next couple of days. The Bears will attempt to turn around their miserable season as they face those Dallas Cowboys. And NIU football faces Bowling Green in a rematch of last year's MAC championship game this Friday. That's all for sports. I'm Dan Kenny, and I would like to wish everyone a happy holiday season. Back to you at the desk.
Coming up, Bobby the Golden Retriever puts her best paw forward. We'll explain.
NFC, AFC, offensive linemen, defensive tackles, quarterbacks, and cornerbacks are all working with United Way for a million little reasons. The kids of our communities, to ensure their academic success all the way to graduation day. You see, it takes about 12 years to create a graduate, but it takes the same time to create a dropout. And the difference between a kid becoming one or the other could be a professional athlete, or it could be you. Studies showed the earlier we get to kids, the better their chances. So become a United Way volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor, and make a difference in the life of a child, for the life of that child.
Give. Advocate.
Volunteer. Live United. Join your favorite NFL players. Take the pledge. Go to unitedway.org.
It's a machine that your dog will love more than a bone, and it's right here in DeKalb.
NTC News reporter Trey Ward fetches us the story of a local woman whose dog wouldn't be able to walk without this device.
Good girl. What?
Here's 15-and-a-half-year-old Golden Retriever Bobby. You'll never guess that within the past 2 years, she survived cancer and is currently being treated for arthritis in her hips here at Bethany Animal Hospital. In fact, Bobby's hind legs were so weak that her paws would bleed from dragging them along the ground.
She can actually run.
From laser treatment to walking through an obstacle course, Bobby's owner, Gracia Polaric, has made every effort to make sure her dog can run. Even enrolling in the hospital's water treadmill therapy sessions, which has been one of the main reasons Bobby has been able to walk.
Oh, it's been wonderful. It's been like a miracle because she was having problems dragging her hind end.
The people here at Bethany Animal Hospital say that by putting a dog in this water treadmill, it allows them to lessen the weight that they're carrying so that they become fully mobile.
The water treadmill works by first filling the machine with warm water to help relax muscles. The dog's pace is controlled by a device on the side of the treadmill, and the session lasts about 30 minutes for each canine.
4 sessions, you see a difference right away.
Dog veterinarian Jody Jeske says that even though it's only been about 2 months since her classes began, she's happy with the progress she's seen with her clients' dogs.
Oh my gosh, look at how great we're doing. You know, when they walk in the door and they're not limping, you see that they are happier.
And not only are the dogs much happier, but Keisha agrees that she is too.
Hi, W. Hi, W.
In DeKalb, I'm Trey Ward for NTC News Tonight.
The people at Bethany Animal Hospital tell us that even though the classes are new, they would like to invest in another water treadmill and a bigger facility for them. Sessions start at $85.
Wow, by the end of the winter, that dog's going to be in better shape than I am.
Well, let's not hope that happens.
I don't know, yeah, but she makes it look so easy.
I agree. NTC News Tonight is produced and directed by students here at NIU. We want to thank you all for sticking with us this semester.
Enjoy the rest of your evening and your holiday season. We'll be back this same time next semester. Thanks for watching.